friends, this is Julie and welcome into my craft room. Today I am sharing a flip through of my completed journal for the 2026 Dollar Tree Junk Journal Challenge hosted by Jess at Paper Terrace. First of all, I want to say a big thank you to Jess for hosting this extremely fun challenge. I've had so much fun, not only watching all the other makers and artists who participated in this challenge. I loved watching all the hauls and all the different things that people were picking up and the creativity and the imagination of everyone. It was such fun. I've also met so many new people through their haul videos, through their flip throughs, and people that have discovered my channel in the process. So I want to say welcome and thank you to all the creators. It's been a ton of fun. And the other thing I discovered that it is possible to develop a short-term addiction to Dollar Tree. I don't think I've shopped at Dollar Tree so much in such a short period of time. So is that a thing? Is that hashtag Dollar Tree addiction? I do have to say I have shaken it off, but leave me a comment below if you developed a short-term addiction as well. But let's get started on the journal. If you watched my haul video, you will have seen that my thought process in the beginning was that I wanted to create a Americana 4th of July red, white, and blue themed journal. But after I started digging into my supplies, I realized that I didn't really have enough to follow through on that theme, but I did still incorporate one of the Dollar Tree seed packets. And let me back up a little bit. If you're watching this for the first time, I will put a link below to my original Dollar Tree haul. I did go a total of 4 times. So I think that first haul just encompassed 2 visits, supplies I picked up on 2 visits. But if you're catching this for the first time, I think this is Jess's 5th year hosting this fun challenge. And we are tasked to only use Dollar Tree supplies. They can be new supplies that you purchased this year, as well as supplies that you have in your stash from Dollar Tree past purchases. So it doesn't need to be brand new stuff, and I love that. So it could be low cost to free if you are a frequent Dollar Tree shopper. Okay, so enough talking. Let me get into the flip. So here is my journal. If you remember, I shared a Cheez-It box. Part of this challenge, I also wanted to challenge myself to make a different cover, one I haven't tried or made before. So I picked up a Cheez-It box, and I wanted to also tackle sewing. So I did both of those things, but I did have one oopsie. I dug into the box a little bit too quickly, and I cut the wrong side of it. I wanted to double, I guess it was probably the right side, and I was thinking like a book, and I cut into the right side, but I was able to do a soft spine. So in the end, it did work okay. I just pivoted. So let's take a little look-see at the journal. Here is the front cover. I have used one of the seed packets, so I just changed it up. I had that white daisy. I took a piece of fabric that I already had in my stash. I was lucky, I have to say. I had a lot of really beautiful florals in my stash. I didn't end up using those 2 pieces of blue material, but I think maybe on my 3rd visit, I was able to find this yellow kind of felt material, and that kind of started the process of tying in all the pastels, the pinks, the greens, the blues, and the florals. So that's the direction I went in. I took a piece of one of those floral fabrics in my stash, and I just did a little ripped rectangle. I added the seed packet to it, and then I framed it out with some of the grosgrain ribbon, this kind of checked ribbon, and some of the crocheted trim that we all love. I also had some of these paper flowers in my stash. I had picked these up a long time ago. I love to use these little flowers in assemblages. So this is the first time I've used them in a junk journal, but we have one of the little sunflowers and little pink ones. And then I thought they needed a little something, hopefully that's not too blurry, holding it too close to the camera, but I did take my micron pen and I added some little black dots just to tie it into the sunflower. So here is the side of the journal. I only added 2 signatures in, and I used the baker's twine. Here's the back of it. You can see the felt a little bit more. I used some of that grosgrain ribbon that Dollar Tree carries, and this was also one of the fabrics that I had in my stash. Again, very, very lucky. And then here's the dangle. Let's look at the dangle really quick. So I used one of these larger paper clips that I had, and again, some of that baker's twine. I had picked up, I think at a subsequent trip, I picked up some of these keychains. I was really glad to find these. I used a little snippet of fabric on one side. They're really easy to take apart, and I'm glad. I think it's like a 5 or 6 pack, so I think I will use these because for sure I am joining in next year to the challenge. And I just noted here, in case I need to look back, that this journal was made for this particular challenge. And what do I have here? I was lucky enough to also find some of these alphabet beads here. So I have, these are some of those little wood stars. Again, things I had picked up for kind of 3D work and assemblage work a bunch of years ago. I picked up one of those. I think a lot of people had them. They were the wooden bead type. Maybe it was a lanyard. I'm not quite sure what it was, but I took it apart. It had a little ring at the end and a big like lobster clasp kind of thing. So I'm not really sure what it was for, but here's the little tassel from it. I don't know that these quite go, but they added some sparkle. They're little happy face beads, so I included those. And then I also made a discovery that it is easy to color the little wood chips, the beads, the little stars here. I used my alcohol markers. So I was thinking originally I would paint them, but how cute is that? And I love the color. It really does add a really vibrant color to the wood. And then a few of the stars, I decoupaged paper napkins. Paper napkins were my friend definitely in this challenge. I couldn't find any of those cute books and things that people were picking up. My Dollar Trees just did not have them. So napkins, I really dug into the napkins for this challenge. And then I just did little kind of scrappy little bows here just to add a little bit of movement. Oh, and then I had some of these. These were actually little Christmas pom-poms, you know, the kind of sparkly ones. I think they came in a pack of red and green. So I just grabbed a couple of the green ones and strung them on to the twine. So that's the dangle. And then here, the journal itself, I should show the side here. So the only thing that wasn't a Dollar Tree supply was the little eyelets here. So I kind of had a little bit of a missed opportunity. I probably should have added the ribbon in between the cover and the paper on the inside, but I guess it's like when you're building things, you don't quite know. You just kind of go through the process. So I was thinking I would just add the holes and string the ribbon through, but I wanted it to have a nice finish. So those are the only thing that didn't come from Dollar Tree. And again, like I said, this is all made from a Cheez-It box, and I came in here and I think it looks so cute. My first time ever sewing too on cardboard that is this thick. So I think that turned out really nice, and I sewed the back as well. Little things here, and let's flip it open. The one thing that I also kind of struggled with a little bit was a lot of the Dollar Tree papers are very, very thin. So I have some Dollar Tree supplies that are a must. I always have them in my stash. I craft and create with them all the time, but I did struggle a little bit with the thinner papers. I mean, I picked up copy paper, I picked up some of the composition notebooks, but in watching somebody else's haul, I realized that I had some of these 6x6 cardstocks in my stash that I had forgotten about, and they're kind of that tie-dye look, but I think they worked really well. Would I have loved to have had the florals in my stash? Yes, but again, I never found them at my Dollar Tree. This is one of my favorite things. I love adding library cards into the front of my journals where I can. So this is just, you guys will all recognize this, one of the time cards. I added a little index card here. I used some of my Dollar Tree stamps, that say "Have a nice day." I made a little hole protector, again, from the cardstock, added a little bow. I just stuck this little coin roll here. I just thought it looked cute, kind of a little stuffed pocket. I folded it, added some material, just a little glued on cluster here. And then I think the star of the show were these bee decals, and I actually picked these up for a bee journal that is in the works, and they were laying next to me here as I was creating the journal, and I thought, oh my gosh, I think that would look adorable, and it did. So even though I had picked it up for another journal, I think it worked perfectly. I added a little one of those popcorn bags here, and I used some of my double-sided sticky tape and a little fabric strip here to decorate. These are from one of the paper napkins, and I just made little fussy cut, little die cuts of the butterflies. This was packaging, I think, from this card right here. So I'd picked up on one of my other trips these butterfly greeting cards, and I think this was the packaging, so I just backed it with a piece of that composition book paper, and I added a little tab. I'll probably come back and decorate this a bit more. So I have added some decoration, but I kind of stopped at one point because I could be working on this journal for a week or 2 weeks. I love making and building journals, but the thing I love the most is the decorating. So as I was going through, I thought, you know what, I'm going to stop because we can come back and do fun little projects and shares maybe over the next couple months. So I think there's some opportunities to decorate this, definitely a lot more. On the back side, I just added a little pocket here, again with that cardstock and an index card, and I just added a little sewn fabric tab here. Here's that greeting card. Again, that can be decorated. Here's some of that paper. I love, love, love this paper. I think this is a must-have, and I love the weight of it. I grabbed 2 tablets of this. I think the green and the blue, but this is definitely something that is going to be a must-have in my stash. Here is a piece of that kind of little kids tablet, which I enjoyed too. It was my first time picking that up. I just added a little kind of die cut. I did some little bit of mark making, and this was from one of the calendars that I ended up picking up on another trip. Here I've made sort of a little tiered pocket with the coin envelope. So I took the largest of the coin envelopes. I added some napkin on here just to decorate the inside, and just put, whoops, that fell way down in there. But I think there's a coin envelope. Yeah, I think there was a little coin envelope. And then this is just a piece of that receipt pad that they carry. And then I put a smaller coin envelope here. So this has a little tuck spot. You can also tuck things down into this envelope. Again, some of the napkins made little die cuts. This was just a little stamped image from one of their rubber stamped collection. And then I made this little tag out of a piece of the calendar. I like that word, gather. And then here's the back. So just a little journaling card. And I decoupaged napkin onto that page. In order to create pages that were a little bit more substantial, I think this is maybe has a piece of the copy paper, and then I had some of this kind of bright pop of copy paper, again very thin, but I backed it in the green, And then on this side, I decoupage some paper napkin onto this side just to make it a little bit thicker. And then I have some little pockets. Again, you can see how thin that is. It's one of the circle napkins that has a little wavy edge. So I just followed that little wavy edge to make a pocket. Here is one of the prayer cards that I picked up, again for another journal, but I thought these look so pretty in this one. Here is an envelope that, again, I decoupaged some napkin. I used one of the coin rolls to make a little tab here. Here is another prayer card tucked inside. What did I tuck here? One of the larger index cards. And then to decorate this, I love this. I think I'll probably bring this to one of our Thursday Vintage Craft and Chats. So again, because I didn't have a lot of things to do collaging and little elements, what I did was I got out the rubber stamps, and one of the stamp sets has a little frame. So I stamped out the frame. I have little clickable alphabet stamps in my stash, so I stamped out the word journal. Here's a little leaf and a flower from one of the stamp sets. I did a circle die cut here from some of this tie-dye cardstock back here, and then I used one of the bird silicone stamps and grabbed my colored pencils and colored it in and made myself a little die cut here. This is just a single piece of that kind of thin colored copy paper, and I just clipped on one of this "Today is the Day" piece of paper from the paper pad. It's a little calendar page, and I clipped on one of the flashcards just to give it some color. Here's another one of that task and date paper pad paper. Here's a little butterfly here made with napkin, a tab made from an index card. Here's this is my all-time favorite paper. I love this columnar paper. Again, anytime I see it, I pick it up. I probably have 3 or 4 pads in stock, but this is a favorite Dollar Tree supply. I made a little tab with just my circle punch and decoupage some paper napkin on there. Here's another piece of that little kid's paper pad. I added some Dollar Tree washi tape on that side. And then here's a large piece of the calendar page. Again, it was very, very thin. So it looks like, I guess I just did 2 layers. So I backed it in a piece of this, the bright copy paper, and I made a little fold. I made some little pockets, and I've just stuffed them just for some color. We'll come back and create some fun ephemera to put in the pockets, but I just tucked in some things that were color. Oh, this was fun. I now want to go back and test all the Dollar Tree index cards. I like to use, when I'm decoupaging with paper napkin, I like to just grab glue stick, my permanent glue stick, and whatever my substrate is, I just layer some glue on top and then layer the paper napkin over the top. And this was one of the lemon ones, like the big round lemon one. You guys probably have seen them or do have those in your stash. And I love the watercolor look. You wouldn't know that that's a lemon printed paper napkin. But the interesting thing was that the glue colored it in a cool way. So look at that. It's the yellow index card, but it almost made it orange, like orangey watercolor. So I think this will be a fun experiment. I'm going to get all the colors, the blues and the greens, and see what happens when I put glue stick on them. And I've just been using, these are kind of my new favorite, these Scotch. I have a big, large Scotch permanent glue stick, and then I have the smaller version, which looks like this. So, and I don't know if it was the big one or the small one, but I think that'll be fun to play with. Here's the other side. I just added some ribbon. There's some pages here. Actually, I don't know why I'm holding it up. I'll put it down. So these, I didn't do tabs, I didn't decorate. We'll come back and do that. Here's the other side of that envelope. I think it would be a good opportunity. We can glue something on and make an extra little flip. Here's another side of that, the pocket. Lots of decorating possibilities here. The other side of that greeting card. And then here's the other side of that popcorn bag. Again, another pocket. Just pop some stuff in for a bright pop of color. Here's a large index card. And then here to decorate this side, I just took some of that gingham ribbon. Oops, I have little dangles here. And then again, I made a little die cut, took some of my paper punches, layered them on. And actually this was a fun thing. I want to have more of a play. I thought I still had them on my desk, but Dollar Tree carries sticker paper. It's probably meant to print on, I think maybe for shipping labels or something like that. And I want to say it's like 3x5, I think. I think it's probably about this size, like their large index card. And so I stamped on it. I'm just going to stick that there. But it has a really nice kind of soft feel. And I love the way it took the stamping, the ink stamping. So I want to have more of a play with that and kind of see what else we can do. But I don't know, have you guys ever tried to stamp on those big sticker sheets? I think those are fun. So we'll definitely have a play of that. And then on this second signature, again, I had those fun bags that I had picked up from my haul, and I didn't use the primary color one. I was sticking with the pinks and the pastels. I was kind of feeling that in this journal. This is a little fussy cut from one of the calendar pages, and I just came in and did some mark making just to make it a little bit more interesting with my micron pen. Here's another piece of that hand sewn ruffle. Again, just added stuff in for some color. We will come back, and then on this side I made a little journaling card. I love this paper pack. I love the little phrase, today is a good day. And I just glued it and backed it onto a piece of large index card. Here's more of that paper I love. Here is a Dollar Tree doily that I had in my stash. Here's another one of these pages that I backed in the paper napkin. I love the feel of that. We have the bright copy paper on this side. Oh, and then here's one. Did it come? No, it didn't come undone. So here's a piece of that lemon. Like, look at that. So where did that go? Look how cool that is. So here you can really see it where it got, the oranges popped up. Is that interesting? So it's something about these index cards, because what did I use? Okay, for this one I use, you can see here is the packaging for this cardstock, for the 6x6 cardstock. Can you kind of see that? You might recognize that. So I use that for the pocket, but yeah, is that cool? That's gonna be fun. Little experiment. Here's some of the columnar paper. Here, I guess I did do a little bit of the red and white. I was struggling to find enough different types of paper, so I did add a piece of that. I just cut it down with some pinking shears, added that to the second signature. Here's a piece of paper from that composition book I had that I took apart. I just added a little bit of washi tape to it. Here I've used that today is the day to add a little bit of color to that page. Here's another piece of that double-sided tape that I added some fabric to. I think that's a quick and easy way to make a tab and add a little bit of color. It's another one of those coin envelope tabs. And then here is the second little pocket that I made from the calendar page. I think that has a really pretty illustration on it, and it looks like I probably need to glue that down, but I just did 2 layers. So I did the bright copy paper at the back, just folded it and created a pocket. We have some little fun things stuck in there. And obviously you can see this is probably where I said, okay, I'm not going to fully decorate the whole thing because I think it'll be fun for us to do some of that together. Here's the other side of that pocket and another little lemon. And here's that packaging. I actually had 2 of the cardstock packets in my stash, and I have to say I love this cardstock. It's been in my stash and I hadn't created with it until now. I think I had taken out some of it and had shared it in Happy Mail, but I hadn't crafted with it myself, so this will definitely be something that I'll be on the lookout for if they have any more of that in their stores coming up, or different prints. Here is the other half of that kind of rectangular, what did it say? Have a good day, I think. And back that with the large size index card. And again, we have a little tuck spot here. And then, yeah, so this is the other side of the packaging from the butterfly greeting cards. And you can still see Hallmark. And so this needs some decorating, but I just added a little fabric tie on the front, and then here's the back. I didn't even put anything. I created a little pocket with the time card, and I didn't even stick anything in there yet. And you can see here, so even though I had to piece the 6x6s together, I think they joined together pretty easily, and I think it has a nice clean look. But that is my journal. I'm sure I left some details and some things out, but if anybody has any questions, definitely leave me a comment below. Let me know. Did you develop a short-term addiction to Dollar Tree? I would love to know in the comment section. Again, big thank you to Jess for hosting this fun challenge. And I don't think I said at the beginning, but I will put the links down below to Jess's channel. I know she's also doing a fun giveaway. I don't know when this video will post, but I think we have to sign up by the 31st, and the giveaway is for people that have participated, that have created journals, all the other makers and artists. And I think she's having a big 100,000 subscriber celebration. I think I made a note here. Yes, I believe her celebration is on August 1st, so make sure you go to Jess's channel, look at all the details, how you can sign up for the giveaway, and also so that you can come celebrate with her on August 1st. I know I will be there in the chat celebrating along with her and all of you. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this little flip through, and I loved creating this journal, and I can't wait till next year. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye, friends.